Hello, and it's good to have you join us again on Maritime Radar. The inland water transportation provides a cost-effective, logistically efficient, and environmental-friendly mode of transport whose development as a supplementary mode will enable diversion of traffic from the over-congested routes and contribute immensely to economic and social development. Marine transport, either by inland waterways or over shorter maritime distance, has the potential to greatly improve continental integration in Africa and transform the economies of African countries, especially landlocked and island states. But it needs the adequate support and an enabling governance framework. Repositioning Nigeria's water transportation sector towards economic growth and sustainability are some of the issues that will be on the front burner on today's show. I am Norma Obiaswala. The challenge of safety on waterways has been on the front burner considering several boat mishaps seen across Nigeria. These mishaps are based on regulatory lapses, poor implementation of safety standards, as well as human errors such as overloading, non-use of life jackets or use of expired jackets, overspeeding, weak boats, night sailing, amongst others. In Lagos, Nigeria, which is our focus this week, water transportation is often a primary mode of commuting for many residents who want to avoid traffic. It's also a source of transportation for those living in coastal communities. Thus, it is imperative to have safe, efficient, and modern water transportation. Before we get further into today's lineup on the program, let's find out the latest in maritime news.
Nigeria has witnessed a sharp decline in the importation of used vehicles, particularly diesel or semi-diesel engines with a cylinder capacity of 2,500 cc, as figures dropped by 65.8% year-on-year. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the value of these imports plummeted to 354.8 billion naira in 2024, down from 1.04 trillion naira in 2023. An analysis of the NBS Foreign Trade in Goods statistics reveals that no import bills were recorded for used vehicles in the first quarter of 2024. However, the second quarter saw a surge to 110.54 billion naira. This value continued to grow by 11.9% quarter-on-quarter, reaching 123.77 billion naira in the third quarter before slightly declining by 2.6% to 120.49 billion naira in the fourth quarter. Industry experts attribute the dramatic drop to the ongoing economic challenges faced by the country, which have significantly impacted purchasing power and import activities. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics show that crude oil and various agricultural products dominated Nigeria's export sector in the fourth quarter of 2024. Crude oil remained the backbone of Nigeria's export economy, generating 13.78 trillion naira in revenue out of the country's total export revenue of 20 trillion naira. This means that crude oil accounted for a staggering 68.87% of the nation's total exports in fourth quarter 2024. Liquefied natural gas and other petroleum gases also played a significant role in the export portfolio, bolstering the country's position as a major energy exporter. Agricultural products made substantial contributions to Nigeria's export earnings. Cocoa products led to the agricultural segment, while cocoa butter, sesame seeds, shelled cashew nuts, crude shea oil, as well as frozen shrimps and prawns also contributed positively to Nigeria's export earnings. Economic analysts are emphasizing the need for further investment in non-oil sectors to reduce the country's reliance on fossil fuels and mitigate risks associated with global oil price volatility.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Maritime Radar. Lagos State has one of the most developed water transportation systems in Nigeria. This is due to the efforts made over time to reduce the workload on the state routes. In this chat with Abdulbak Ladi Balogun, Managing Director and CEO, Lagos Ferry Service, he shares with us all that Lagos State government is doing to ensure an efficient water transportation system. Stay with us. It's good to have you join us on the show, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's start this conversation assessing your key achievements since you assumed office as the Managing Director and CEO of Lagos Ferry Services.
Okay. We started commercial operation on the 6th of February 2020 after the commercial launching at Waterway Terminal by Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. And it has been a steady rise, steady journey for Lagos State Ferry Services. We have a clear mandate to ensure that we bring the 30% of commuters to travel by waterway. And that's what has been our intention, and we have been very, very methodical in our approach to ensure that we get this done. So the first thing that we need to do to ensure that we carry the maximum people that we can is to ensure that we increase our fleet. So this Mr. Governor made promise, and he fulfilled the promise. When we assumed office, there were 5 boats. All of them were idle, not productive. In fact, we can say that ferry transportation by Lagos State government agency, that is Lagos State Ferry Services, has been comatose. But he came, he revived it, he re-energized it, and he gave us that
backing
oxygen that we needed to breathe. So all the support came, and he made a very steady investment in the water transportation infrastructure across the state. With the investment in the watercraft, we got all our watercraft made in Nigeria, particularly made in Lagos for the first time. Instead of spending hardened currencies, going abroad to get a boat imported for this kind of thing. So we looked at what are the alternatives we have, and the reliable alternative at that matter. So we sourced for it locally, and we told them this is our model, get us this, get us that. This must be in the boat. This must. So we actually leverage on what are the features you can see on the standard boat anywhere in the world, and that's what we gave to our boat builders, and they came up with a boat. So he was very impressed with our activities in the first 1 year, and he promised that going by this, we will double the capacity. I'm quoting him now. Mr. Governor said we will double the capacity of Lag Ferry in the next 1 year so that they can cater for more commuters, for more passengers on the waterway, and Lagosians having that waterway experience. Do you know what? In 2021, he fulfilled his promise. He's a talk-and-do governor. He made sure that he gave us extra 7 boats, increasing our fleet by 15 in the space of 12 months. Yes. Addition to the 5 that we met on ground, making 20, the highest number of boats you can think of by any subnational or even any national government within the West African.
So Lag Ferry can boast of 20 boats right
20
now.
boats in our fleet right now, as we're
modern
talking.
Boats.
19 modern boats, passenger boats, and 1 cargo barge. It's a cargo barge we're actually using that we transform into our social event space.
Okay, how has Lagos been able to harness the potential of Lagos in that waterways since the Lag Ferry operation started?
Okay, like I told you that we are looking at the sustainability of this operation, of the ferry operation, water transportation. We have been scaling up. right from the word go when we start the operation till now, we keep improving on our ways of getting the passengers across and ensure that people are getting things done easily. For instance, when we had the log jam in Apapa, the Maitu, also the Apapa Orunsoki Expressway, it was a very tough time for the importers, for the transporters, even for ordinary commuters.
Yes.
People were not able to get to work easily. You can't get home easily. Everywhere is log jammed. So creatively, innovatively, we provided logistic solutions on the waterway for all the companies that are operating Apapa access. They normally have to clog themselves on the road and say that our truck must be on the road. But we found a way of taking the trucks off the road and pass them through the waterway in lesser hour, in lesser duration, get to the port, get to the warehouses, get to the factories, and get things moved out easily. And through our Maitu. You know, Maitu and the Marina, these are two iconic places where we have the three mode of transportation connecting together. We have the rail terminal, we have the ferry terminal, and we have the BRT corridor. You can hop onto the train, you can come on board the boat, and you can, if you decide to go by road, you can go by the BRT. So because of that, we have been able to, number one is interconnectivity, which is a very seamless process with the use of the cowrie card. So passengers are finding very easy. If you want to go to Badagry, you get to Marina, you can actually take a boat from Marina that will take you to Badagry when you come down from the train station. Or you want to go to maybe Ikoyi, you want to go to Victoria Island, after getting to Marina, you can take a BRT that will take you, a BRT bus that will take you to Island or Lekki or elsewhere. So these are the things that we normally see in a working, functional city, and that's actually taking place during our lifetime, during the administration of Mr. Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. Things are taking shape and things are working, and we have a functional model of transportation in Lagos State.
Okay, talk to us about the insurance liability scheme. How does it work?
Okay, you see, when we are delving into how to attract more people onto the water transportation, using the boats, using the ferry as their way of life, just like they are used to the road. 25 million population, everybody cannot be on the road at the same time. And provided that Mr. Governor has already invested a lot in providing water transport infrastructure, the jetties, the terminal, the dredging, the channelization, the safety, even energizing and equipping the waterways, our regulators, for their safety and other controls. So we think bringing the people on board is our responsibility. So we now increase our sensitization, our awareness, and advocacy. So part of our advocacy is to say that what gives you comfort, what gives you a kind of assurance that you are safe when you are on the waterway. And that's what led us to thinking out of the box. Okay, let us have a passenger liability insurance scheme that will cater for their need in case of any accident. And it will boost their confidence, it will boost their morale. Even with the water phobia scale, you can still come on the waterway and say, okay, I am safe, I'm good here with this insurance policy. So once you are a passenger and you choose to travel by water, particularly with Lagos State Ferry Services, there should be a kind of insurance package for you. That's okay, this boat I am on board, taking me to my final destination, I am sure I'm safe. So we put it together with them after some brainstorming session, meetings and whatever. So we came up with this. Two things, either injury or death, which we are not praying for. There is compensation.
So are passengers paying for this insurance scheme?
It's part of what we're trying to put together, embedded in the cost of the fare.
Okay, each time you...
At any point you are on board Lagos State Ferry Services boats, you are rest assured that you are covered, because a message will come into you the moment you are manifested.
Immediately?
Yeah. You will receive a message on your phone that says you are on board this boat and you are covered from this destination to this destination.
Oh, okay.
So that's been happening for the past 3 to 4 years now, when we instituted the insurance policy for our passengers,
Oh.
also to encourage them to come on the boat.
Okay, do you have any expansion of this insurance scheme to private sector users? So we'll be looking at that question. Then we'll also be looking at the seeming state of emergency because of the incessant boat accident that have been happening across Nigeria. But that will be after this short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is still Maritime Reader. I have with me Abdulbak Ladi Balogun. He is the Managing Director and CEO, Lagos Ferry Service. Before we went on that break, I was asking if the insurance scheme, you have any plan with private sectors, because the commuters in Lagos that are using water transportation are not using only lag ferry. They're also using private ferry. So is there any partnership to absorb these passengers using these private ferries?
Okay, thank you so much. Our sister agency, who happen to be the regulator, that's Lagos State Waterways Authority, is actually covering every user of the waterway, particularly the private and the government owned. So we are the one handle the business end for the government, while other private commercial operators are there. So because of what we have started, and we are excelling at it, and we are creating that exemplary lead, so it has been copied, or let me say it has been lifted from Lagos State Ferry Services for other private operators. So particularly, you know, in May 29, 2024, when Mr. Governor clocked a year in the second tenure, exactly May 29, there is this launching and commissioning of omnibus boats by Mr. Governor at Waterway Terminal. So those boats were actually meant for empowerment of the private sector commercial operators.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not for government really. So all these commercial operators that were coming on board, part of the guideline says that you must have insurance policy in place for the passenger. Apart from the insurance policy for the boat itself, because there's something we call marine hull insurance. For all our boats, we have marine hull insurance. All our boats are insured. That's the asset of the state government. So for the passengers, they're actually coming on board. What are you doing to encourage them? What are you doing to protect them in case of any eventuality? Is this passenger insurance liability scheme that we put in place. And because of the successive story of the insurance scheme, it has now been translated, or let me say, being adopted by other boat operators who happen to launch into the omnibus scheme.
That is fantastic. You will agree with me that there's been incessant boat mishap in Nigeria, which has made the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy to bring together a committee to look into why this is happening. But you find out that in Lagos, we've not seen that record of boat accidents happening in Lagos. So I want you to speak to what strategies have Lagos State deployed to ensure that we have safety on our waterways. What have you been doing to sensitize and advocate in terms of sensitization, in terms of advocacy in regards to safety on our waterways?
I know there's an agency, there's a federal government agency that deals with waterways, inland waterways regulation, and that's NIWA or federal government. They need to increase the capacity of their personnel that are monitoring the boat operations 24/7. And you have to create strict regulations around the operations, standardize and streamline things. The first thing that you need to do is to ensure that the watercraft being deployed for water transportation is actually standard one. What do I mean? Look at all the boats given to us by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. They are standard, they are world class, and they are made in Nigeria. They are not that costly. They are not that expensive, like the foreign one that you bring abroad. So we have to look inward and do a kind of backward integration. What are the things that we can produce locally? Can we do it in Lagos? Can you go to Port Harcourt? Can you go to Warri and get things done? By that way, you are empowering the local economy. Again, you are taking advantage of what you are producing locally and put on the waterway. Now, all those we call them badi boats here in Lagos State. All those boats, traditional boats that we're using for commercial transportation over there, they are not safe. They are not safe for transportation. So the first thing that you need to do is to introduce modern watercraft.
Defacing this.
You have to deface the entire old boat out of the system. After getting the watercraft ready, modern, safe one, standard one, dredging of the waterway. Yes, you have to create channel by dredging the waterway. So when you have this and you bring in your green buoy signifies that this place is safe, is deep, you can go there. This red is show that this place is shallow. So anywhere you see red buoy on the water, don't go there. That's a signal to you for you to know that that place is not safe and the water is shallow. But where you have the green buoy, you are good to go. These things are not, they are cost-effective measure. They are not that costly, they are not that expensive to do. Now after that, you have to do something that we are doing in Lagos. We have water guards at every jetties, at every terminus. Then along the coastal road, along the coastal line, you have some kilometers to each other, some distances. You have water guards that are monitoring and they are reporting and feeding back into the system. So this thing, you see, a boat might be on the waterway in the large water body and anything can happen. This is a mechanical things. Engine might go off or something might happen or the wave might be too much or it might be raining and the boat lose control or something like that. So when things like that happen, the water guard that is around that area, of course, we do a kind of communication to either to the control room, command and control center. If there's our own operation, of course, we will monitor from our e-fleet surveillance room here. And there'll be a communication from the water guard people, because all the crew could do or can do at that time is to see how they can save life or to avoid disaster. But the water guard employ and deploy to those areas can actually do the communication. Then you can have rescue boats that come untimely to do the rescue, and we will minimize the loss of lives that we are seeing everywhere. You see, all these things, you have to be intentional about what you intend to achieve. So how we employ the federal government?
To make the right investments.
They have to make right investment and ensure that they have the human capacity to monitor. When they do all this thing, because your human capacity will check the life jacket you are putting on. If any boat operator is not putting on their life jacket, we have regulator here that will enforce it. Who is enforcing that of New Busa? Who is enforcing that of Otukpo in Benue? Who is enforcing that of Lokoja in Kogi? You see, that's why I said they need to increase their capacity and they need to make investment to know that yes, Nigeria is ready to tap into marine transportation side of a blue economy.
Okay, that's suiting to know that there's actually a solution to this. It's
of
not,
course, there are.
It's not
there are solutions.
So also let's look at another area Lagos should thrive in. Lagos is a critical part of blue economy, and Lagos is surrounded with about 13 lagoons and rivers, if I'm correct. What is being done to ensure a thriving tourism industry in Lagos?
Okay. What we are trying to do as an agency of Lagos State Government is to collaborate with the Ministry of Tourism and Culture to have water tourism as part of the tourism policy and tourism calendar of the state. So, like for instance, in the year 2024, the outgoing year, we had what we call Lagos State water regatta. This boat regatta, this has been on before, but somehow it was left in the limbo. But again, Mr. Governor reactivated it and we saw to the success of it. And because of that, a lot of tourists, a lot of fun seekers, a lot of people, even corporate world that want to associate with that kind of event, they are coming and, running over themselves, scrambling to ensure that they have a piece of the soul. So we know that the next edition is going to be bigger and better than what we had last year, because we already opened the way for the world to see that tourism is actually rising and is thriving in Lagos State. Now, If you go further, you will see that a lot of beach houses, a lot of hotels are coming up along the coastal line of Lagos State. This speaks to the fact that tourism is not just what you do and enclose yourself in a place. You have to give open space and allow the tourism to grow and to expand. So people in Lagos State are now seeing what they can enjoy in Dubai. So you don't need to take Nigerian money outside the country before you want to go on holiday
critical.
And you want to go on honeymoon. So by that, we are investing locally, and of course employment is being generated. As we are speaking, we have 5-star international hotels coming up to have some to have hotels along the beaches and the coastal line of Lagos State as we are speaking. But who does the transportation aspect of it? That's where ferry comes in. So we are taking a lot of people on weekly basis, on daily basis, from their comfort homes, from their comfort zone, from their workplaces, to relaxation spots. Some even having their AGM, they have their meetings across the water, after the water, going to Ilashe, going to Ibeshe, going to Inagbe, going to Ilado, going to all those places, even Lekki Peninsula. There are a lot of resorts and the beach houses that are opening up businesses, and we have a lot of them coming up on board because the investment in that sector is actually growing. So, but yes, you can do music, you can do film, you can do creative. Another major aspect of tourism that has to do with nature is the water.
Interesting things happening on the waterways, really. So we hope that you oblige us again and again. So we also talk about your milestone and how you achieve all this.
We invite you to come on board, please.
Thank you very much. It's been Abdulbak Ladi Balogun. He's the managing director and CEO Lagos Ferry Services. It's been beautiful talking to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for what you are doing, setting the pace that, in fact, water transportation can really be safe, and you could also have fun on water transportation. Thank you very much once again.
I'm happy to be here once again. And let us know, the next oil for Lagos is water.
Thank you. Next oil for Lagos is water. And that's our show this week. I hope this episode has been able to address the safety issues raised on Nigeria's waterways. Join us every week on Maritime Radar as we explore how Africa can unlock the latent potential of its maritime industry and its connected sectors. You can also expect the latest in global and local maritime news and industry insights right here. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Thank you for your time and see you again next week.